Good afternoon, and thank you everybody for once again joining me. Today is my part 3 of part 4 series entitled How to Become an Author Utilizing Backwards Design Planning. As I stated earlier, my name is Zylia Nolan, and I am the proud author of The Memoirs of an Empress, which can be found on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and also by accessing my website at blackgirlswrite2, which is the number 2.com. So please check it out. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you will find the other parts of the series that you may have missed, in case you want to check that out, where we discuss parts of UBD, what it was, the 3 stages, and how we as authors can implement it to organize strategies to help us to write our legacy, which is publishing our books. Now, today we are going to discuss reflection and the role that it plays in the stories that we would like to create and leave for our families and friends and all of the world to share in our lived experiences. According to online dictionaries, including Webster's, reflection is a series of thought or consideration of an idea of an opinion that is formed upon a remark or made as a result of meditation, a consideration of some subject matter, an idea of a purpose. So when we reflect, we are doing a lot of things using our mental capacities. And it's important that in our writing, we understand that it is a process that must entail reflection. Because writing is a process, it does allow us as writers the time and the space for editing, revisions, comments, additional input from others, and a lot of other things that we could think of to add or take away from the book that we have started to create. As an important process, it is an important process to accept the change and to understand the experience of all of this. So, as you know, as writers, we all need to understand about editing. Editing is something that we can do ourselves. However, it is most likely that most of us will entail a professional editing service to work with us to help us to improve our writing. Now, some editors are going to just look at your grammar and your spelling errors, and they'll correct those things. Now, there will be other editors that will help you to use the literary language and to expound upon your usage and how to captivate your audience with your words. As stated, there are a variety of editors that exist and that can offer a variety and necessity, which is to help us to improve our writing skills. And if you wish, you can check out my website to visit to see what are some of the services that I offer, as well as a plethora of other authors and editors that offer their services. However, today we are going to dive into the benefits of reflection and what it may offer us as writers in the writing process. Now, for a moment, let's just remember that when we organize our thoughts and we have committed our ideas to words on the paper, we should also commit ourselves to the thoughts and the process and the execution of our book. Moments, seconds, days, sometimes or even months are necessary when you have to allow yourself this time and the space to reflect upon your writing in the words that you have put on the paper. Now, how does reflection assist writers? It gives us the meaning to the process. When we ask ourselves reflective questions such as, how does my piece speak to my readers? How does it speak to myself? How does it speak to the community? We can also help relieve some of our tensions and anxieties by thinking to ourselves, is my book on the right track? Is it revealing my soul? Can my book speak to my readers? It also allows us the time and the space necessary to make adjustments and to create opportunity for feedback. Reflection is an integral part of the writing process. It allows the writer to come up with insights and meanings from the perspective of reviewing, studying, revising his or her own work. This time allows the writer to have a deep immersion of their own work and to provide time for growth and a deeper connection to their own work. You see, the connection that authors develop with their work becomes their voice. It becomes the part of which they are able to sell their books, have an ability to tell their story, and to carry out their message. It is the way that we continue to live our dreams and to create and to continue writing the stories that we so love to get out into the public. Although it is up to the participant to draw their own meaning from their reflection experiences, the need to provide deliberate times for reflection is the premise of today's part 3. I have found it most useful after creating my monthly calendar that we talked about in the second series, for publishing my book, that it is important to schedule deliberate times to solely reflect upon the book's progress. In my experiences, planning periods of time around the phrases, the different phases of the book, has helped me best. Dividing up my book into a plan, into phases mostly, made it easier for me to schedule reflection time and to ensure proper organizational strategies. Using quarterly intervals seemed to work best for me, and it allowed me the time to self-check, to optimize my consistency, and to flow within my writing. Allowing myself also to be vulnerable to the reflection and to the criticism of others also allowed me a way to provide insight and to check whether or not my book was being effective. In that, I was meeting the goals of my book's progress. So, what are some things that we can ask ourselves as we are writing during times of reflection? We can question the meaning of the phrases and the terms that we have chosen to use in our book. So looking back at the word choices and making sure that they are appropriate. We can give ourselves personal feedback, that is called self-reflection, and we can actually put notes on our document to give ourselves time to digest the information that we're taking in. We can expand upon our current ideas and to make them flourish into greater things. We can increase the energy of the story. We could speed it up. We could speed up the time. We can make sure that we're validating our points. We could also consolidate the story. Perhaps maybe the story's going on, and you could just, consolidate a few things to make it a little bit sharper for the reader. You could also summarize the story so that, again, you're taking ownership of the story becomes yours, and you have a selling point when it's time for you to publish. You may want to introduce new characters. You may also invite editors at this point to come in and to participate in your reflection process. And of course, you want to always make sure that your book is on target for the goals that you have set, utilizing the strategies that we discussed in part 1 and 2 of the series. When you reflect, you pay special attention to the story and you look at it in a thoughtful and concise way, you validate the story. And you, as the author, become the story's elements. Allowing reflection opportunities also becomes a part of the writing process, and it allows you as the author to connect, to bridge, to develop habits for successful publication. And ultimately, that's what you want. You want to be able to publish your book. So what are some things that authors can do while they are reflecting? So one, of course, is that we can use journaling by using a journal book and to note details. Also can be done in our document by adding comments, etc. to the template. You can, of course, schedule your deliberate times that you're going to use reflection in your calendar. So when you use your calendar that we discussed in part 2, you will actually put dates on your calendar where you're going to schedule reflection time for your piece. Of course, you're going to need to find a quiet place where you can be comfortable so that your ideas can flow and that it can be an uninterrupted time and that you can really study your piece and understand what it's all about. You can also, of course, think about the greater purpose of your book and allow for those ideas to guide your work and to reflect in the process. Of course, we discussed seeking public assistance, talking about using editors and other people that may be able to give you insight and to provide comments and criticism that may be necessary for you to make changes and additions. Of course, you can always ask friends and family, but that can be a little bit tricky, but of course, that's always to your discretion. So you could always bring those people in from your community that you trust, their opinions, and that they can also offer you insight about how the story is flowing and what changes or additions or things that may want to remain the same are just going fine. So remember, I'm sharing some of the things that I did to reflect as I was writing my book. And of course, I know that there are a lot of ideas out there, and I would love if you guys would share those ideas with me. Of course, you could go to blackgirlswrite2.com and enter my forum and to add some ideas that you may have about reflection and how it has been an important piece in your writing process. So lastly, I would ask that everybody would share this page and save it so that this week, which is ending real soon, I'm going to be announcing my birthday basket, and I'm looking forward to gifting someone with that basket in honor of my birthday, which is coming up. So once again, if you've missed anything about this series on how we can utilize UBD, Understanding by Design, to help us to publish the books as we as budding authors and authors would love to do, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Black Girls Write 2, so that you can observe or shout out those videos that you would love to see. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me, and I hope to see everybody tomorrow on Facebook at 4:00 p.m. And I will be presenting this book, Dream, an Awesome Dream by Clayton Singleton. And that will be my read aloud for this week, so I hope to see everyone there. Thanks again for joining me, and I can't wait to read everyone's books. Have a great evening. Thanks again. Good night.